In terms of mopping up excess housing supply, that is really very important because we got to understand that property developers, when they purchase land, they're actually given 2 years within which to develop. So if you don't buy back that idle land from developers, they will end up adding more supply to an already oversupplied situation. So I think the governments need to act quite swiftly to buy back that extra land. In terms of unemployment, I think really it's squarely in the hands of the private sector because the private sector actually accounts for 80% of job creation. And the government really has very few levers in terms of overall unemployment or youth unemployment. So I think, in order to get businesses feeling more comfortable to hire again, their bottom lines need to improve. So for one, I think where the government can help is, the Ministry of Finance has instructed local governments to pay their arrears owed to local firms. I think that helps them release some of their financial pressures and also to prevent them from levying unreasonable fines on local firms. So I think that's what the local government can do to help shore up employers' confidence.
Right. I'm trying to get the nominal GDP number, but I think that'll get released in some time. I do want to understand from you what this means for 2025 growth. Because around 5% has been the narrative and the commitment by the policymakers for this year. But what does all of this translate? Because the comments coming in from the Stats Bureau seem quite positive. They're saying that China's foreign trade situation this year has been better than expected. September economic indicators showed positive changes. So they are sounding a bit more upbeat about the near-term to the medium-term outlook. And so how does that set in with your overall projections from a trend perspective on growth in China?
So we think that GDP growth next year will stay at about where we are right now. So we are looking at 4.5% growth for the whole of next year. In terms of growth drivers, I think I would beg to differ from the officials. I think that external demand might be hit by some trade restrictions, either from America or from Europe. We are already seeing a lot of policy announcements on that front. And I think consumption is going to take a step down because, after that revenge spending is fizzling out, we don't expect consumption to also be very strong. So I think 4.5 is about there.
So that's officially a slowdown.
Yes. I think what matters actually rather than the real GDP growth figure are two things. One, the nominal growth rate. So I think if deflation ends, nominal growth can actually be above 4%, and nominal growth is what companies' profits are based on. So, and then the second thing that matters is unemployment. So I think if growth slows down, but unemployment falls below 5%, I think that is considered a win.